And next, I would like to bring up my dear friend Suzie Sims-Fletcher. Put it together. She is a fantastic lecturer, and she's a storyteller extraordinaire, and she's got many, many talents, which she will unfold before you today.
Oh gosh, HR is so romantic, and it fits with, like today I thought we were going to have a snowstorm, and I think that snow is really romantic, and it sort of wipes everything out. You get to see like the trees and everything white and no steps and in the snow. And so last week I was walking into the Common in the Garden in Boston, and it was heavy with the snow, and I remember thinking of my first time and what brought me to Boston. I actually came to Boston as a displaced homemaker. I didn't really know what that was until I was filling out a form that Emerson College had sent me that I'd been accepted to their graduate program and been offered a fellowship. But in order to get this fellowship, I had to confirm all this information. Social Security number, 1445, check. Full name, Mary Susan Elizabeth Sims-Fletcher, check. Address, 436 Springfield Court, Lidditz, Pennsylvania, check. Status, displaced homemaker. Displaced homemaker? I knew that I was a homemaker. I had 2 small children, and I had a home. The home, as I mentioned, was in Lidditz, Pennsylvania, on Springfield Court. It was a 4-bedroom house with an apple tree and an attached garage. It was in Lidditz, which is a town of 10,000 people. It has its own chocolate factory, and it is in the middle of beautiful Pennsylvania Dutch farmland. You know, Amish country, horses clip-clopping, buggies, just absolutely fabulous. And it was a neighborhood that we had all moved to together, all of us young families, and we had built these houses, or at least picked the color of the carpeting. And the 3 cul-de-sacs sort of joined together, but I realized that what really joined us together was the Gilibertis house. The Gilibertis had the daycare. And Joe Giliberti, who was Italian and large, had married Crispina, who was from the Philippines when he was in the Army. They had twin sons who had recently graduated from high school and were now in the military, and a son in middle school. But every day, either picking up or dropping off our small preschool children, we congregated around the coffee pot. Her coffee pot was always full, and that's where you found out what was on sale at the drugstore, who needed orthodontia, and what the best mulch was for your yard this year. The Gilibertis also had the holiday parties that everyone came to, with tables laden with every kind of crock-pot confection or casserole. Anything that had Velveeta, Bisquick, or mushroom soup in it was on those tables. You didn't want to miss it. And this Christmas holiday sort of time party that they had, I went there with my kids and my requisite, casserole, and it was a snowy day. And I went inside and up into, the kids went off to play with their friends, and I went up into the kitchen, sort of near the coffee pot, and started a conversation with Bruce Drum. Bruce Drum was a manager of an office for a local factory. And I'm chatting with him, whatever, you're making small talk. And I realized his wife came and sort of wedged herself, she was a big girl, between the 2 of us and said something to him, and he looked at me and he said, "Oh, I've got to go over there now." I was like, okay, all right. Seems sort of odd. I almost felt like she thought I was flirting with him. Believe me, Bruce Drum and I never, nothing, ever. So after a while, I went downstairs into the family room, which is where all the teenagers were hanging out. And because of my community involvement, I knew a lot of teenagers. I was the after-school and Saturday detention monitor for the local high school. I worked with the high school foreign exchange students, so I knew families that wanted to have exchange students or who had had them or were currently having them. Didn't mean it that way. And I also worked in Top 4, the pregnancy program. This was not a program where we taught girls how to be pregnant. They were already pregnant when they came to us. Because Lidditz, in its picturesque and fabulous way, had a home for unwed teens called house of his creation. And in exchange for keeping them during their time of confinement and teaching them how to scrub, make beds, and cook small meals, they were put into the Lidditz school system. The school system got a little bit frustrated with this because these girls were being put in and yanked out every few months. And so they decided that they would have their own program for just the pregnant girls. And it wasn't held in the regular high school. It was held in some Sunday school rooms across the street. And Lidditz, being fabulous as it was, donated a few of its own girls to the program just to make them feel at home. So I was teaching at the pregnancy program, after school detention, and with the foreign exchange students. So I'm hanging out with my peeps, and talking to, amongst other people, the two Giliberti twins who had come back for holiday leave from the military. And Joe suddenly appears, Mr. Giliberti, and he goes, "So Susie, which one of my two fine boys do you like best?" And I thought, I've known them since they were in middle school. They're twins. I like them equally well. They're fine young men. And after making some sort of fluffy conversation like that, I dismissed myself from the group and went over to